I'm Natalie Raynes, and today we're going to be looking at the hymn, It Is Well With My Soul. The words to this hymn were written by Horatio Spafford, and the music was written by Philip Bliss. Now, Horatio Spafford has quite a life story, and if you've never taken the time to find out the story behind this hymn, I would encourage you to do a little bit of research and find it out. It will help you play with more thought and more feeling as you think about Horatio Spafford's perspective while he was writing these words. Just to give you a condensed version, let me tell you this. He lost a young son and then shortly after lost his entire fortune, which was heavily invested in real estate, in the Great Chicago Fire in 1871. After a very rough year and a half, he and his wife planned for a European vacation for the two of them and their 4 daughters. Now, some business dealings prevented him from joining them on the ship that they were to leave on, but he sent his wife and daughters ahead anyway. Unfortunately, during this voyage, the ship sank in only 12 minutes. His wife arrived at their destination, sent a heart-wrenching telegram back to Horatio that had 2 words, saying, "Saved alone." Now, he made the trip on to join his wife in Europe, and it is said that he wrote the hymn while standing over the approximate location of the death of his 4 daughters where they went down with the previous ship. So as we look at this hymn today, I want you to think about the power of how broken this man must have been when he was writing such powerful words, yet he knew where his strength was. And many great hymns were written out of terrible circumstances for the hymn writer. So as we play that, we want that to be reflected in the notes that we play to draw our congregation's attention more to the power of the words. It Is Well With My Soul is one of those powerful hymns that has sustained a lot of believers over the years, and I think it's really important when you play it that you do open the hymnal and actually take the time to look at the words while the congregation is singing. Don't just play mindlessly and think, oh, I know it as well. It's in the key of C. How easy can it get? Open the book, look at the words on the page, and play through the text. So let's jump right in. It starts off with peace like a river. So I want it to sound very peaceful. The next phrase, though, says, when sorrows like sea billows roll. So it's okay to get a little more broad during that section. The next phrase says, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say. So I imagine that it's very, very contented sounding, very, very simple. For this first chorus, I'm going to keep it really simple with what I do, basically building on exactly what the hymnal has. Mimicking that same bass pattern that I was doing at the beginning in the middle of the verse. Now, if you're playing this for a congregational, you're not going to switch over into a minor sound like a lot of arrangements have, you know. It's not really going to work for a congregation singing. You can do that for an arrangement just fine if you're playing this for an offertory, but since we're working on a congregational style, I want it to sound very consistent. Like sometimes Satan's buffeting feels never ending and pulsating. So that's what I'm thinking about when my left hand is playing, how the temptations and trials feel very consistent. This blessed assurance. So I'm going to change into more of a brighter sound, because even though that's happening, we still have blessed assurance that Christ hath regarded our helpless estate. So I want that to be the overarching thing, that trials are not forever. Look at what we have instead. what I did on the first verse, which was really, really simple. On this one, I'm going to let my right hand, pinky, finger 5, have the melody, and let my other fingers, basically all of them except finger 5, have the accompaniment pattern, which is going to be a rolling bass that sounds like a duet between your left and right hand. That right there, it's not in the hymnal, but it's really pretty, so that's why I added it in there. There's actually nothing with the sopranos right there. You have a rest in your bass and your tenor note, so you can add that in there. The third verse is probably my favorite, and a lot of times I hear it played kind of in a more of a sad, simple way, but I think as he was writing, my sin, oh, the bliss of this glorious thought. To me, this verse is as exciting as the fourth, different theme, but still very exciting. So don't be afraid to play out a little bit on that verse. I'm doing some of that to kind of lead to what I'm going to be doing on the fourth verse. My sin is nailed to the cross, I bear it no more. That's a very jubilant thought, but I also don't want to go too much into the jubilant nature of it that I don't have anywhere to go on the fourth verse. But I still want it to be very uplifting sounding because that's a glorious thought. Instead of playing a blocked chord, which is basically what the hymnal has written, I'm just an octave lower, I just break the chord up. Let anything down right now. I want it to keep progressing because we're going into the fourth verse. Every time I play this in church, I go up a half step to D flat on the last verse. Going up a half step on the last verse, or some songs work better to do a whole step. I usually do a half though, because they're written for a vocal range, and if you get too far away from it, it becomes difficult to sing. So I'm going to go to D flat on the last verse. It works well because you hold the last note of the chorus sol for 3 beats. So that's a perfect time for you to get down to the 5/7 of the new key, which is what you need to go up a half step. So if I'm in C, I'm going to get to an A flat 7 chord. Not just a chord though, we're going to do a running arpeggio, and if you feel really courageous, go ahead and add a glissando up or down. It sounds really, really fantastic for this kind of song. Time between the verses, go to town on it. Really enjoy that key change. If you hold it out for 3 steady beats and then come right in for the fourth verse at your church, you don't have to add the glissando. So you can go. And that fits it just as well. And those big strong A flats really, really are going to help you because in a couple lines you're going to be talking about a trump. So you want it to already have that clear calling sound at the beginning of the verse. If you have a good song leader and he can kind of feel that, see if you can take the tempo up just a hair on this last verse, because the words even say that, and Lord, haste the day. So we want it to sound like we're moving forward. Use your sustained pedal and keep that D flat chord there. So you want there to be a little bit of contrast between how big the verse was and then the beginning of the chorus come way down. Anytime you have a quick change in volume, it renews the audience's attention one way or the other, either going from fortissimo down to piano or going from a piano up to forte or fortissimo. Anytime you have a big change, it renews the audience's attention. So that's a quick way of how to play It Is Well With My Soul.